So this is the SEC Growth Data Science staff meeting for November 2nd, or for those in APAC, November 3rd. I started the live stream a little bit early so that it would all get set up before everybody joined. So I'll give it another 30 seconds or so before we actually get started. Actually, while we're waiting to get started, Raphael, you want to introduce yourself? Raphael's my first outside of GitLab Director Shadow.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Raphael, as introduced. I'm a senior airflow engineer at Astronomer, previous senior engineer of data, and a data scientist, and just learning as much as I can this week and really having a good time meeting everyone. So thank you.
So, Phil, you want to cover number one since it's from Camille?
Sure. Camille wants to welcome our new engineers to Growth. Ross is a full stack engineer, and Roy, who's coming in as an intern full stack engineer. They both joined this week.
I'm seeing in Slack lots of welcomes and thumbs up, which is neat, from Mark and Camille and Tiago and Nathan. Thomas, looks like you have item B.
Yep, absolutely. So this is new hires and anniversaries. We had a 2-year work anniversary last week, and wanted to make sure we called that out. Make sure her was celebrated as well. So this is 2 years within the API security group, and we're glad to have them. Hope to see you many more. Hope to see him here for many more. So
Good stuff. So in celebrations, I'm going to read this one since it's for Phil. So please join me in congratulating Phil for a discretionary bonus for living our values of collaboration and results per nomination from Jeff Burrows. What Jeff had to say is, Phil helped me walk through resolving Git conflicts locally on my machine. He had never done this before and was struggling with the steps in the documentation. Phil jumped in quickly, helped fix the issues, and also walked through each step and explained each step what it was doing to the MR for better equipping him to resolve those issues on his own in the future. And it met the criteria because the help was above and beyond. Phil could have just added a commit and fixed it, but he took the time to teach me something instead. So congrats, Phil.
Thanks. I am always impressed when someone opens a merge request to update 434 handbook pages in one go.
Goodness.
I wasn't surprised he had quite a few conflicts there.
Why 434 in one MR? Bunch of renames, I'm guessing? Or?
I'm glad you wrote that down for me. Was it 434, 432? I can't remember. It was moving security in the handbook. So moving an entire section. But what I notice is when people do this, they try and do everything in one merge request. You don't need to. You can do your redirects and you can move but you don't have to update other people's content. People link to your pages. You can do that in a follow-up if you've got the redirects right. But I think a lot of people just do a find and replace, and then they run into problems because it takes them a week to get all their approvals, and by then their branch is completely out of date. Anyway, we worked through it. It was interesting. I enjoyed working with Jeff. I hadn't worked with Jeff before, so that was nice.
Good stuff. Seeing lots of kudos. I'm sorry, I haven't seen Tiago in a long time. I said, Tiago, last time I saw you, it was pre-beard. I'm shocked.
This is the new look. Santa's coming to town.
Looks good. Just, I didn't recognize you at first.
and he only started growing that beard 2 days ago.
You know it, Thomas.
So, anyone want to verbalize B? I put it in here, but it's good to talk through this announcement from Ashley, our acting CTO.
I'll take it. This is an announcement that's been a long time coming. So if you've been here long enough, remember when we announced the beginnings of the patent program through legal, and there were catalysts for that. And here are the first two that I remember going through this particular patent program. So this is a big congratulations for team members on innovative work for two patents. First, vulnerability tracking using scope and offset. So this was a collaboration with Julian, the departed James Johnson, and Lucas. So this is a way to help us make vulnerability tracking over time, particularly for SAST and anything that's related to like code level. That's like which line of code this a vulnerability is related to. It's designed to help us get a whole lot more accurate over time. And so this was a really neat innovation. Really glad to see this here. And the second one is for scalable code testing and benchmarking, which looks to be a collaboration within the entirety of vulnerability research with Julian, Isaac, Mark, Dinesh, and Michael. And so big thank you to all. And as a promo, there is a bonus program associated with this, and that is available here. And there's a link to the Slack announcement. So big thanks, and hopefully more to come.
Good stuff. So in news and events, FYI on a handbook update that documents how development should collaborate with customers during customer escalations, stemming from a retrospective on a recent escalation from a large customer. So, and I was the author of the MR, but I also think it's important too, not just because I'm the author. B, I put in there, but I don't need to verbalize it. Somebody who hasn't verbalized something, read through that one.
I can take it.
Oh, go ahead, Amar.
Yeah, team ops goal OKR for Q4. They're looking for volunteers to become trainers. More details in the development staff meeting agenda if you're interested.
Thanks, Amar. Anybody want to verbalize C? I know it came from me too, but you hear my voice too often.
Yeah, sure. Do we want to invite guest speakers to this meeting from other parts of the company, perhaps starting with our stable counterparts in UX, set, and product?
Mark, who couldn't make it, but Mark, I'll read what Mark's comment is PMs would definitely be nice. We had David DeSanto in secure meetings back in the day, and it was quite helpful.
I think this would be useful. We used to do this in Growth. We used to bring stable counterparts along, and we would attend Growth product meetings as well. It's really useful for sharing ideas and finding out what our counterparts are doing.
Anybody want to volunteer to organize, like reach out to people and say we are looking for guests and get them to maybe one guest a week that they just show up? Anybody want to volunteer?
Well, how about we do it this way? Someone will volunteer, and I'll do it this time to find the first guest, and then we pick someone else to find the next guest, and we just rotate through that way.
Sold.
Seeing lots of thumbs up. So
yeah,
great. Thanks, Phil. I was a guest in the product management meeting, I don't know, a month or so ago, and it was good to hear the questions they had, not from the product managers I work with, but also from product managers I've never spoken to. So in the hallway, a little bit of thanks, Mark, for pointing out the Q4 OKRs epic for product management. He found it before I did and let us know about it. Lots of good detail in there for various things, although they are in flux. Also, thanks, Thomas, for finding the best in class comparison, which I linked here. And also someone else found a slide version of that same document. Well, I think it's the same document, but it's on the same topic. So good for understanding the competitive analysis, the draft OKRs from PM, but also the competitive analysis. So I read the issue. Is it issue? Yeah, issue, not epic. I haven't actually read this document and slide deck yet, but I'm planning to. It's pretty insightful. On B, please close out Q3 OKRs with a final percentage complete, add a good, bad try, like what went well, what didn't, what you want to try in the future, in a comment, and tag your manager to review. Completing this in the next week would be great. I didn't say, please do complete it in the next week. You know, if you need more time, that's fine. We got a lot going on with calibration and other things.
We're starting to think about holiday planning for the end of the year. Had a quick discussion with Wayne about this, who pointed out that our first priority is to book our leave, not to worry about coverage. But once we've all booked our leave, I suggest we create an issue for this group and share our leave plans so that we can work out who's here, who's not here, and what gaps we have. Who are our teams going to contact if there's an escalation or a production incident and they're looking for management support from one of us. I'm happy to volunteer to create the issue unless someone else wants to do that, and we can start adding our leave in as we determine when that's going to be. Any thoughts on that idea?
Yeah, I know, Phil, you and I just discussed this a few minutes ago. I want to say it again here, that we're not going to coordinate who takes vacation when. We're going to see who takes vacation when, and then figure out what the coverage is. Because people take vacation when it makes sense for them, and then we'll figure out the coverage based on all of that.
Thanks for the distinction.
Yep.
Or just an FYI, there is a special coverage issue for those incident managers. There is a schedule, obviously, but many of us will be on leave, and so there's a call for volunteers for those who are around. This is around the Christmas New Year period. If anyone wants to volunteer for coverage there, that would be great. And I notice a few on this group already have, which is awesome.
Cool. So I don't know who put in item D, but that's great. Thank you, but let's not verbalize it. But please do read it. In thanks and gratitude. So nice job, Jay and team, at getting the bug reproduced and resolved that where some users had trouble logging in some of the time, which made it hard to reproduce, especially when they use certain password manager browser plugins, but it was really hard to track. So great job by Jay, and Yuji, I think, did a lot of the work on this.
Yeah, thank you. Yuji did an excellent job on following up and digging in deep here. So all the thanks should go over to him, but very happy with how that turned out.
Good. Since we have a little more time, I know we don't want to stretch meetings to the time allotted, why don't we talk through the read-only items? I think there's good stuff in there.
There's a link to a handbook page about beautifying our UI for developers interested in contributing to UI improvements. We're used to seeing these come through as OKRs to burn down backlogs of issues, but this is a different approach. It's looking for volunteers, anyone who wants to contribute to UI improvements, working with someone in our UX team. I'll read out Mark's quote. Mark's not here. No, yeah, I'll read out Mark's quote. The idea was to empower the peer to make changes they identify themselves and resolve directly with MRs rather than following our existing product development flow. Mark thought that was interesting.
And I'll link the participation that Yannick on static analysis just recently completed. As a part of the Beautifying the UI initiative, he redesigned the login page. So that was a really big task, and I think that shipped in 15.3, maybe 15.4. I'll find the issue and link it, but he definitely learned a lot from it. It was very impactful and a great experience overall.
Diego, you want to read your item, verbalize your item?
Sure thing. I created a MR to revisit the decision to require a discussion in MRs that don't have a subtype. The discussions didn't lean heavily either way. There was a slight inclination there to remove, or at the very least simplify it by not requiring people to go and click there. My own personal experience is that that thing was always getting in my way. Maybe the type of MRs that I contribute, and the general idea behind my proposal was that contributing should be simpler and smoother. We already have a lot of tasks that are required, a lot of boxes to be checked, a lot of messages to reply. So any time that we adding friction to this process, I think we should be very diligent in the values where the benefit, the cost benefit of that choice. And I was particularly happy that it's a two-way door decision. If it turns out that we absolutely need that, it's an easy thing to revert and put back in and go from there. So good overall representation of our values, I think.
Thanks, Thiago. Quick poll. As I'm thinking about, the more we connect, the better. So I'm trying to think of a good question, things for us to connect on. So a bit of a silly one, but what's your favorite Slack channel? I'd actually like to hear everybody on this. So mine is all caps. Notice I typed it in all caps. Thiago, what's yours? Or Thomas, what's yours? I see yours there. Next.
Mine is random, but -1 for not shouting all caps when you said it.
Yeah. All right. There's a emoji in Slack that's a flashing all caps. So I don't know why that's my favorite. Why do you like it, Jay? I see your +1 there. I don't know why I'm drawn to it, but I am.
Yeah, the low level humor just really hits. I don't know what to say. It's great. Like hearing what people are griping about too, like the simple things.
I love all caps. My recent one has been the New Zealand Visiting Grant channel, just because it was a way to extend the time that I spent with the new people that I met in person. The first people I met in person, aside from Mark, who's not here, but Mark is the only other person that I met from GitLab, and it was awesome. I met Seth there. It was great. We had beers on the balcony. And it was just neat to keep the channel. The channel's going to go, so I'll just go back to the sex section social.
Seth, it looks like Sex Social was your favorite as well.
Yeah, it's just nice to see what other people are up to.
Alan, is Sex Section Social your favorite as well, or a different one?
It's true. Like, I mean, we have so many pictures from vacations and other stuff. Like, this is great to see that.
I recently joined the Outdoors channel. It's kind of like Instagram. There's just people post pictures of where they've been going outdoors. That really appeals to me. We spend so much time sitting inside in front of a computer. It's great to see where people are going and what they're doing with their spare time. And it's also because most of our company is not in the Southern Hemisphere, it's different seasons. So I'm seeing a lot of autumn pictures, whereas we're heading into spring. So.
Kumar, it looks like you have some others as well you're a fan of.
Yeah, similar to Phil, you mentioned like it's nice to see what other people are seeing. Another cool one in that regard is Office Today, where other people post pictures of their office view of the day. When people are like traveling around, it's really cool to see all the cool little views that they have. Related to that,
I'll have a look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then related to that, dog is always a great way to start your morning. I'm a huge dog person, so scrolling through dog pics, definitely great. And dad jokes was one that I ran into recently that just good content in there all around.
Do you need to be a dad to contribute? Or they don't card you at the entrance?
They don't card you. Yeah, that was my first question too. And I saw a lot of people posting. I'm like, I think everything goes as long as it's a funny dad joke.
Yay for inclusivity.
Indeed.
Maybe it looks like you're a fan of dad jokes as well. Any others?
I quite like Office Today as well, seeing other people all around the world where their offices are, and like Phil mentioned, different seasons, so people inside and out.
but yeah, dad jokes as a dad of a young family. It's good to use some of those in the household as well.
Good, good. Did we hear from everybody? I think we did. Did we miss anybody? No. Tiago, it looks like you have another item as well here.
Yeah, I had a quick one there. I'm just enjoying watching Seth having to run back and forth. Look at
Oh,
it.
man's about to
He's
go.
going again, go again.
That looks like I can knock that over. Let me see if I can knock that over. That looks like fun.
It's so good. When they say, "Oh, I had my hands full with the baby," that's what they're talking about. And I didn't get to meet the baby in New Zealand, so this is good.
Yeah, he didn't come up.
Hello.
And
So,
before-
lastly, I know we're on live stream, but Rafa, any questions for any of us as you're shadowing this week?
No questions today, unfortunately. Sorry.
Okay. Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Before we go, I want to congratulate everybody that's in New Zealand for being in uniform today, and well done on coordinating outfits. So.